alive, alive. Come on, everybody now. Alive, alive.
I am Emily Dougherty, and I'm excited to share my Agriculture in Ireland spring break study abroad through my lens. I first applied to be part of the program because of my Irish heritage. All of my Dougherty ancestors were Irish farmers, and I knew that there was no better way to experience both the culture and the agriculture industry other than through this opportunity. When preparing for the experience, I expected Ireland to be much like the United States, although a few major differences stood out to me. The use of the word toilet instead of restroom, the lack of notable road signs, and the fact that they didn't have ranch, like anywhere. And as a basic Midwestern farm girl, ranch is my go-to. More seriously, I was surprised by the lack of technology on the majority of the farms we visited. They were so much smaller than I could have ever imagined. They lacked the size, scale, and infrastructure as the farms we do in the United States. When researching, I could tell that they had smaller farms, but nothing compared to stepping on a hog farm with only 3 hogs. It seemed as we were stepping back 50 years in comparison to United States agriculture. I noticed a few John Deere tractors, a De Laval cow brush at the Water Buffalo Dairy, and their feed processing system seemed to hold similarities to the United States. Everyone still had the deep love and passion for agriculture, just like United States farmers. That holds true no matter where we visited, whether it was the Water Buffalo Dairy, the normal dairy farm, or even the goat dairy. They all had that same passion for agriculture that you can find right back home in the United States. The most memorable experience for me was horseback riding on the Dingle Peninsula. The views were absolutely breathtaking and so moving. Just my horse Tato and I taking in the beautiful scenery around us. Personally, I felt so close to God in those moments and all of His creation surrounding me. The ocean, the mountains, the countryside. It was awesome. It was an experience that I will never forget and always hold in my heart. The Dingle Peninsula was one of my favorite parts of the trip, and I'm so glad I stepped outside of my comfort zone and this cattle girl turned into a horse girl for a couple hours while horseback riding. Throughout my study abroad experience, I gained so much experience that has shaped my career and life plans. As an agriculture communication major, I am always invested in other perspectives of the agriculture industry. I witnessed the Irish perspectives on agriculture technology, including equipment, expansion, and GMOs. Although I give credit to their values of traditions that have shaped their perspectives, I hope that they can become educated to make more informed decisions based on research and information. As an agriculture communicator, this experience has added fuel to my fire for sharing U.S. agriculture story. I believe our story is so valuable, and our opinion on why we do what we do is so important as well. It is great that we need to understand both sides of the story to make a stronger international agriculture scene. Still farther, it has encouraged me to develop my interest in international agriculture issues with a focus on Brexit. I will be following along to see recent developments on how that will continue to impact Ireland and the international agriculture industry. Although the intercultural barriers were few, I defined a few that I experienced. It took me a few days to catch on to the Irish language and accent. I learned to love the accent to their voice once I understood it. I noticed the value of their history and traditions were deep. It was great to see a country that chose to represent and showcase their history in almost everything that they did. Although I am very appreciative of that, I noticed that within the agriculture industry, they became very fixated on their past traditions and lacked visions of expansion. Also, conversations sometimes became tense when politics or agriculture technology were involved. No one that I talked to liked Donald Trump, and lots of them had very extreme American jokes with them that grouped all Americans into the same perspective. It was crazy to hear their perspectives of Americans. One cab driver asked us if we had guns with us because we were Americans, and then he shared how when he vacationed in Florida, he tried to buy a gun, but he couldn't because of the different barriers and laws we had in place. He shared that Irish laws prohibited owning a gun. These cultural barriers were awkward and difficult to overcome at first, but once recognizing others' beliefs, they became easier to understand and made our trip a greater experience. The cultural challenge for me was having the confidence and being comfortable in Ireland. I was so afraid to talk to the Irish people or to even be in a foreign country. I was nervous I was going to offend someone or say something that could make them angry. I found comfort within my group of friends and having conversations within us. Although towards the end of the week, as I became more comfortable with the Irish culture, I was able to become more engaged in the conversations as my confidence grew. As I've spent time back in the United States, I have already noticed a difference in my behavior. I have looked at agricultural issues and world problems from other lenses, not just my own. I have thought about the ways agricultural communicators communicate internationally and challenge how I can make a difference in the world. I have been inspired to educate and communicate internationally because the need exists. When you ask a question about GMOs at a university and they can't explain except that they are banned in Ireland, that is a huge lack of education. How can citizens form an opinion on something if they don't even know what it is? Still farther, when I shared my agriculture story in the English market, it helped me realize the importance of sharing American farmer stories on a global scale. Because of the study abroad experience, I am empowered, encouraged, and inspired to continue to be American agriculture's and American farmers' strongest advocate throughout the international scale and scope in the future and in my future career.
City, where the girls are so pretty, I first set my eyes on sweet Molly Malone as she wheeled her wheelbarrow to streets broad and narrow, crying cockles and mussels, alive, alive, oh, sing, alive, alive, oh, alive, alive, oh, crying cockles and mussels, alive, alive, oh. She was a fishmonger, sure 'twas no wonder, so were her father and her mother before. Now they both wheel their barrows to streets broad.